The mirror in room 313. It started on a fog-drenched evening when Evelyn Carter, a 26-year-old travel photographer, checked into the Ravenshade Inn, a crumbling hotel tucked away on the outskirts of Whitestone Village. The inn stood like a dying relic from another century, its roof eaten by moss, and windows glazed with dust thick enough to write names in. Evelyn wasn't supposed to stay there, it was an unplanned stop. Her car had broken down on the lonely highway, and this was the only building with light for miles. The lobby smelled of damp wood and something faintly metallic, like rust or blood. Behind the counter stood an old man, thin as parchment, his milky eyes never quite meeting hers. "You're the first guest we've had in a long time," he rasped, sliding an old-fashioned brass key across the counter. Room 313. Top floor. Evelyn smiled politely, unaware that the old man's trembling hands had paused, as if handing over the key was a burden he had carried for far too long. The stairs creaked beneath her boots as she climbed, her camera bag swinging at her side. The hallways were dimly lit, lined with faded wallpaper that peeled like dead skin. Dust particles floated in the air, swirling lazily in the amber glow of old lamps. She passed by room 310, then 311 and 312, and then stopped before 313. The brass numbers hung crooked, and the wooden door bore long scratches, as if something had tried to claw its way out. She hesitated only for a second before unlocking it. The hinges moaned, the door swinging open into darkness. Inside, the room was surprisingly large, a bed draped in a sheet yellowed with time, an ancient dresser, and on the opposite wall, a tall, black-framed mirror that seemed to drink in the light instead of reflecting it. Evelyn flicked on her flashlight. Dust motes scattered. She walked closer to the mirror. Her reflection stared back at her, pale, tired, but normal. For now. She unpacked her gear, set up her camera on the table, and began editing her photos from the day. The storm outside worsened, lightning flashing through the window. In the mirror's reflection, she thought she saw a flicker, a brief distortion, like someone moving behind her. She turned, heart skipping. No one was there. Just her empty bed. She chuckled nervously and blamed it on exhaustion. "Get a grip, Evelyn," she muttered, returning to her laptop. But the storm grew louder, wind howling through cracks in the walls. Somewhere down the hall, she heard a door slam, hard enough to make the floor tremble. She stood up, walking cautiously toward the hallway. It was empty. But when she came back into her room, her mirror was fogged, as if someone had breathed against it. On the surface, written with a finger, were 3 words. "Don't look back." Evelyn froze. Her pulse roared in her ears. She backed away slowly, scanning the room for any sign of movement. Nothing. She rubbed the message away, laughing shakily. Probably condensation, maybe from me earlier. But she knew she hadn't touched it. Trying to shake off the chill crawling up her spine, she lay down to rest. But as she closed her eyes, she heard it, a faint whispering. Too soft to understand. Coming from the mirror. She sat up, heart pounding. The whispering stopped. Then came a low hum, like a song sung underwater. Evelyn crept closer to the mirror. Her reflection was wrong. The face staring back wasn't mimicking her movements. It blinked late. Smiled when she didn't. And then, slowly, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, bones cracking in the reflection. Evelyn stumbled backward, knocking over a lamp. Glass shattered. The room plunged into darkness. Only the faint reflection of lightning illuminated her, and in that flash, she saw another figure standing behind her reflection, but not behind her in the room. A woman. Pale. Hollow-eyed. Her mouth was stitched shut. Evelyn screamed and bolted out of the room, running down the hall. The corridor seemed longer now, warped, endless. Doors on both sides began to bang open violently, revealing nothing but black voids within. The wallpaper pulsed like it was breathing. And from the shadows, soft giggles echoed. She reached the stairwell, but the stairs were gone. Just a drop into endless darkness. A single voice whispered behind her ear. "Stay. She wants you." Evelyn turned, trembling. At the end of the hallway stood her reflection, not in the mirror, but outside of it. Her double smiled, eyes black like ink spilling across her face. Then she raised a hand and waved slowly. Evelyn screamed again and ran the other way, bursting into another room. This one looked identical to hers, same bed, same layout, except for one thing. The mirror was shattered, shards lying across the floor like pieces of ice. And in each shard, she could see fragments of her reflection, all of them moving differently, all of them smiling. A cold hand touched her shoulder. Evelyn turned around and saw the old man from the front desk standing there, his face pale and wet with tears. "You shouldn't have taken that room," he whispered. "No one should. It feeds on memory, on reflections. The mirror remembers every soul that's ever looked into it." What do you mean?" she stammered. He looked over her shoulder at the shards. "She's awake now." The lights flickered. The mirror shards began to tremble, vibrating against the floor. From them, black smoke poured out, twisting, shaping into a figure. The same pale woman from before, her stitched mouth now splitting open, revealing rows of teeth that shouldn't exist. She reached forward, whispering through a mouth that didn't move. "Trade places." Evelyn screamed as the shards lifted off the floor, swirling around her. The room bent inward, walls groaning. The old man tried to pull her away, but the wind was too strong. He was flung against the wall, his bones snapping. Evelyn was dragged toward the mirror's broken frame. Her reflection inside smiled, then reached out, grabbing her hand. Cold. Solid. Real. There was a blinding flash, and then silence. The next morning, the storm had passed. The innkeeper's body lay twisted near the door. Room 313 was quiet. The broken mirror was whole again. Clean. Untouched. Hours later, a car stopped outside. A couple entered, looking for a room. The new caretaker, a young woman with pale skin and long hair, smiled faintly from behind the desk. Her voice was calm, smooth. "Welcome to Ravenshade Inn," she said. "You'll be in room 313.